Landover, MD, October 29. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones meets with fans prior to the start of the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field on October 29, 2017 in Landover, Maryland. Photo by Rob Carr, Getty Images. To the frustration of many fans, the Dallas Cowboys have been quiet in 2019 NFL free agency. To this point, their moves have included re-signing Cameron Fleming, Tavon and Jamize Olawale and signing Christian Covington, all while watching Cole Beasley walk. Put simply, that's not a whole lot to get excited about after the Cowboys won the NFC East and a wild-card playoff game this past season. It's especially curious to see this while the Cowboys have obvious needs and a little bit of money to burn. Even with DeMarcus Lawrence taking up over $20 million on the salary cap under the franchise tag right now, Dallas still has $21 million in cap space to operate within NFL free agency, per over the cap. While the first wave of free agency has subsided, there are still effective players left on the open market that the Cowboys could sign to fill big needs. And without a first-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, it might behoove Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones to do so. With that, let's take a look at some of the big names still out there in NFL free agency that the Dallas Cowboys could still sign. 5. Ezekiel Ansah. Edge Ezekiel Ansah continually showed flashes throughout his 6 seasons with the Detroit Lions after they took him with the 5th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft. In fact, he registered 14.5 sacks in 2015 and 12 sacks in 14 games during the 2017 season. However, with concerns about his consistency, the Lions placed the franchise tag on him last year and Ansah failed to prove himself in Detroit. The BYU product played in only 7 games in the 2018 season and notched only 4 sacks when he was on the field. Thus, he now hits the open market where he's likely seeking big money. However, given that inconsistency, it's not far-fetched to believe that he could be head on a 1-year prove-it deal in the right situation, something Dallas could offer. With Randy Gregory suspended yet again, the Cowboys need depth at pass rusher behind DeMarcus Lawrence, who they're still working on a long-term deal with after placing the franchise tag on him. Ansah, though he's a risky proposition, could shine as the second option opposite Lawrence. This would be by far the best situation he'd have ever been in and could allow him to have a tremendous impact on the Dallas defense while also earning himself a payday come 2020 free agency. Page 2 PHILADELPHIPA, January 21, Timmy Jernigan. Photo by Albello, Getty Images. With David Irving facing another suspension and almost surely being done with the Cowboys, and likely the NFL as a whole at this point, Dallas needs to add some more talent at defensive tackle. When on the field, Irving always flashed immense upside, but never did more than just flash in addition to not being reliable in terms of his availability due to off-field issues. More from NFL Spin Zone. The likes of Tyrone Crawford, Antoine Woods, Daniel Ross and Maliek Collins stepped up in a big way last season for the Cowboys, forming a formidable rotation in the middles of the defensive front. Their success as a group helped make the Dallas defense a surprising strength that ultimately led to a playoff berth. Even still, an upgrade and added depth can never hurt. Taking a flyer on Timmy Jernigan would be a move that would do just that for the Cowboys. Jernigan spent the last 2 years with the Philadelphia Eagles after playing his first 3 seasons in Baltimore. He proved to be a solid piece in 2017 and started out 2018 really well, but ultimately played in just 3 games due to a back injury. Said back injury makes Jernigan a bit of a risk as it's something he dealt with all of last year, dating all the way back to the 2018 offseason. Having said that, with a clean bill of health and perhaps on a cheap deal due to the injury, the Cowboys could be getting a true pass-rushing force up the middle that would slot perfectly into their defensive tackle rotation. Page 3, photo by David Hewlett, Getty Images. If there was one thing that people pointed to as a glaring weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs last season, it was their defense, without question. Thus, it figured that the bulk of their off-season moves would center on addressing that. Instead, they've opted to go in completely different direction, most notably letting their top two pass rushers out of Kansas City, including cutting Justin Houston. Houston has struggled to stay healthy, or at least at 100%, in recent years, specifically missing 4 full games for the Chiefs in the 2018 season. Having said that, the 30-year-old has remained extremely effective and productive when he's been on the field, including racking up 18.5 sacks in his last 27 regular season games. That's something Dallas could use. As covered when talking about Ants and the potential for the Cowboys to sign him, Houston would address a massive need up front that is created by Randy Gregory facing another suspension. Though there are bodies there outside of DeMarcus Lawrence, the Cowboys could use another surefire force on the edge, and Houston could be that. It'd be great to be able to fully trust guys like Taco Charlton or Durance Armstrong as a full-time starter at this point, but you just can't right now. While Houston's health is a bit worrisome, his play on the field makes him well worth the risk for Dallas given their current situation, even if he'd be expensive to bring on. Page 4 Los Angeles, California, January 12, Dak Prescott. Photo by Harry Howe, Getty Images. When Ndamukong Suh hit the open market last off-season after being released by the Miami Dolphins, there was hope that the Dallas Cowboys would be able to land the big-time defensive tackle. However, there was ultimately no way that Dallas was going to be able to shell out the one-year, $14 million deal that the Los Angeles Rams signed Suh to in the end. After playing out that one season and making it to Super Bowl 53 with the Rams, though, Suh is back available in free agency and the Cowboys should be interested in bringing him in. In LA last season, Suh was up and down in terms of his effectiveness, shining more as a run stuffer than pass rusher next to Aaron Donald. However, when the defensive tackle got to the playoffs, he turned it up a notch. Suh was a bona fide superstar for the Rams in the postseason, doing everything that you would want from him. At 32 years old when the 2019 season starts, he might not be the consistent game-changer he once was, but the top-end player in talent is still there and could be tremendously valuable. With David Irving's NFL future basically non-existent at this point as he faces another suspension, adding Suh to the interior of the Dallas defensive line would be a massive get for them. He would give a group that performed well as a rotation last season a viable force up front, making everyone's lives easier and continuing to make this defense a strength for this team. Page 5 Kansas City, Missouri, January 20, Eric Berry. Photo by David Hewlett, Getty Images. Entering 2019 NFL free agency, if there was one position circled on Cowboys fans' wish list, it was safety. For one, Dallas needs to upgrade the back end of their secondary moving forward. Jeff Heath has been a fine player for this team, but his shortcomings have shown themselves time and again throughout his career. He's better as a rotational piece, thus making the need at the position obvious. Subsequently, with players like Tyrann Mathieu, Landon Collins and, of course, Earl Thomas hitting the market this offseason, the hope was that Dallas would spend big on one of those guys to fill the need. Instead, they stood pat and either let those guys sign elsewhere or weren't willing to meet their price on the open market. Luckily for the Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs released Eric Berry after signing the aforementioned Mathieu, and now the former All-Pro safety is on the market. And Dallas would be incredibly wise to make a run at Berry to try and bring him to America's team. Next, 2019 NFL Mock Draft, post-free agency first wave. Though Berry has played in just 3 regular season games over the past 2 seasons due to injury, the last time he was at full health, he was a game-changing player on the back end of the Chiefs' defense. Even if he doesn't reach those all-pro heights again, giving him a short-term or front-loaded deal to see if he can be even 85 to 90% of that once again would be a huge boom for the Cowboys' defense.